Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Another week, another episode. We are back. This is Stats Over Politics, episode number 174. We're back from winter break, took a couple of weeks off. And as you all could see on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, we have a split panel on today's episode because we got a good one coming up on Sunday with, they used to call it Super Wild Card Weekend, but Wild Card Weekend, NFL playoffs are here. So we're going to be previewing all of those games as well as getting into the 5 NFL head coaches that were fired. But before we get to that, I want to hear from my guys. So starting off from with the gentleman who is below me on the screen wearing a Jerry Rice t-shirt, none other than Mr. Jaevon Toddy, the Podfather. How are we feeling today?
Feeling good. Big week ahead. A lot of things about to transpire on this episode, but I'm excited to be back. Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year to everyone. It is 2026, and the gentleman to my right on the screen is none other than Mr. Kevin Dent, who during the intro, when you don't see us on the screen, you see the graphic on the screen. I noticed Kevin stepped away, and he's not only wearing his Eagles Super Bowl jersey, but he put on his Eagles jacket, which makes me feel like I need to get up and go put on my 49ers gold jacket, as Kevin right now is showing the video audience the patches on the side and the Philadelphia Eagles on the back with his Letterman jacket. Kevin, how are you feeling today?
Man, it's about that time. I'm feeling great. Happy New Year, everybody. Merry Christmas. Hope everybody got what they wanted for Christmas. Kaz, I got a question for you. They said it's a big weekend. It's something big going on. I don't really know what the big thing is. Just another day, another dollar. We're just, getting ready to go. Had the starter sit last week. Just another day for us. Nothing too big for us. Just another day.
Yeah, well, Kaz had to step away for a moment, but with Kaz stepping away, it shows his background that he's got. No, it looks like Kaz is having a bit of an outfit change right now as well. As he was rocking just the black tank top, but we can see him putting on holding up the Cooper DeJean jersey. Too bad, Kaz, you have that photo of Jalen Hurts holding the Super Bowl trophy as your background because it's kind of blocking out the DeJean jersey, but now Kaz is throwing it on. He's got his Cooper DeJean jersey on. News came out today that Cooper DeJean is having a bit of a fling with the WWE superstar. And if you want to know more about that, look it up. But anyways, Kaz Johnson of Just Casually, thank you for joining us as always. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, brother. Good to be back. I want to apologize for, not really being too available last, month or so. Just a positive, just a lot of positives going on. Personal training life. I got a lot of clients, which is good. More money and, more business is always good. So just been handling that and have been a little bit overwhelmed for a while. But, like you said, it's 2026. We're back. It's finally the playoffs. I feel like the last few weeks of football, for us regular people, got jobs, got families and stuff to take care of. The holidays gets a little hectic and, we got to just kind of get through it. So we back and I'm ready. I'm more than ready. So the Eagles are playing good football right now. Yep. Playing good football at the right time. And that's all I care about. So yeah, just can't complain, man. Not doing too bad.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. And we have a hell of a weekend ahead of us, as Kevin said, for the reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champions.
Shaun, how are you doing?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm doing pretty well.
This, man. Before we start yelling and screaming at each other and throwing money on the table, let's get the cordial stuff out the way. Shaun, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for asking, Kevin. I appreciate it. We always reference our group chat. And this past weekend in the group chat, when the 49ers had an absolute stinker for the NFC number 1 seed against the Seattle Seahawks at home, Kevin was enjoying that very much, and he was coming after the 49ers, and it kind of flipped a switch within me where I was like, all right, no more Mr. Nice Guy. I've been nice basically all season long. Like, unless I just had the attitude where I was like, unless the 49ers are playing the Eagles or unless someone motivates me to talk some shit, like, I'm just going to be nice. But Kevin, like, he decided.
I'm someone.
Yeah, Kevin decided to insert himself into the debate going on between Jaevon, myself, cousin James, and Kyle in our Stats Over Politics fantasy group chat, as Kyle took $20 from me. Congratulations, Kyle. I'm glad it was only $20. But we don't have time today to recap Week 18 in the NFL, which actually works out in Toddy and I's favor. And we won't be getting to a great game on Sunday Night Football as well. That was for the AFC North crown, but we will allude to it a little bit later when we get to one of the 5 head coaches who was fired. And it seems like which coach that was ultimately came down to one kick by a rookie. And so we'll get to that a little bit later, but let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. But before we spend some time, and we got 49ers and Eagles coming up first in our NFL wildcard weekend preview, because we all know that is going to be the game that the 4 of us talk about for the longest. So let's get it out of the way so then we know how much time we have to get to the rest of the games afterwards. But before we get there, we got to give a shout out to all of our loyal listeners. And starting with Gray Wolf, who's always tuning in, saying, gentlemen, how's everything going? I finished 7-7, taking 4th place in my fantasy league. Oh, Gray Wolf, I feel your pain. I know what that 4th place spot is like. No money. It's tough. As Toddy would say, it's a cold world. And Gray Wolf loves the new setup. We appreciate that. Cousin Marcellus says, there's some ops working the pod for real. stinking the link. And so, obviously, Cousin Marcellus is a noted San Francisco 49ers fan. So we appreciate you for tuning in. Cousin James says, F Kyle, F the Hawks. We will see them again. The 49ers
next season.
See the Seahawks in the second round, in the divisional round, if the 49ers were to get past the Eagles this upcoming weekend. And finally, shout out to Uncle Manny for tuning in as always. He says, hello, guys. Looking forward to the NFL playoffs. Cowboys in Cancun, right alongside Jamar Chase. And right now, Kaz, you're showing us your fantasy score. Did you take first place? Did you win your league? Oh, yeah. He's shaking his head yes. Right now, Kaz is muted, so the audio-only listeners can't hear.
I was muted. My bad. But yeah.
It's all good.
Of course. First place, baby. First place. 750 to the bank account.
Since we're just showing our rings, go ahead and look at that bad boy. Look at that bad boy. So we're just showing our rings, It's not just...
See, the vibe is right, man, already. You already know what it is. 2 Eagles fans, 2 dubs, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, this 49ers fan played in 4 leagues. I missed the playoffs in 2 leagues, and I was in 7th place in those 2 leagues. So I was right on the outside looking in at the playoffs of 6 teams making the playoffs. And then in my 2 leagues, I did make the playoffs. I got 3rd place, and I got 4th place. So it was rough for your boy. But, hey, at least I got 3rd place in our Stats Over Politics Fantasy Football League. And congrats to Kyle, who is the ultimate winner after taking our SOP Fantasy Football League Championship. Kaz, we got to get you in there next year. You've been rocking with us for a couple years now. I'm surprised we don't already have you in there, so we got to make sure to lock that in for next season. So that way I can defeat all of you in fantasy and not.
Well, Toddy came in last, so that means he got you kicked off.
Yeah, man, I'm ready, man. So yeah, I like money. I like money.
Well, Kevin, didn't we have a punishment in the Stats Over Politics Fantasy League? Wasn't it just that the last place person has to pay an additional $20 to the winner? So I don't think
we agreed to it because I know whoever was gonna be last place didn't want to. But we can hit the chat after this. I know I voted against it because God forbid it be me. I would have been pissed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it came down to like a 7-5 vote, somewhere around there. So we'll have to follow up with that just to make sure that all the loose ends are tied up. But, guys, let's get right into it. This segment is going to take a while. Toddy had to step away for a moment, probably for daddy duty, but hopefully he's able to rejoin us in the next 5 or 10 minutes so then he can join the discussion for this crazy game coming up in NFL Wild Card Weekend as the 6th seed San Francisco 49ers will be traveling to Philadelphia to take on the 3 seed Eagles, who, as we always talk about, are the reigning champions right now. And I said to Kaz in our pre-show meeting regarding his Jalen Hurts background that I hope he enjoys it for another week because that reign is going to be coming to an end real soon. And so, guys, let's get right to it. As the Eagles and the 49ers both lose in Week 18, but as I believe Kevin noted in the intro, Eagles sat all of their starters. They didn't really care about trying to go for the 2 seed. Maybe they assumed that the Bears were going to beat the Lions, but the Bears also lost. But because the Eagles lost to 38-year-old Josh Johnson, and granted, again, it was the Eagles' backups. It was Tanner McKee out there from Stanford, shout out. But the Eagles lose, the 49ers lose. The stakes are much different because the Eagles are the champions of the NFC East, which means that they will host, even though the 49ers had a better record than the Eagles this season. 49ers finished 12-5. I believe the Eagles finished 11-6. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But the Eagles host as the division champions. And now we see for the first time since I think it was 2023, the 49ers and the Eagles, or 2022, whatever.
49ers, 2023, yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. The 49ers and Eagles are going to face off in the playoffs for the first time since that NFC championship game from the 2022 season, which was played in 2023 a couple of years ago. And so I'm going to start things off with our guest, Kaz Johnson of Just Casually. We see the background. We see the Cooper DeJean jersey. Just what are your thoughts on this upcoming matchup?
Just get the excuses ready. Your defense is without Fred Warner, without just get them ready. Just get them ready. You guys are going to show up. You have Brock Purdy this time. You're not on your third or fourth string quarterback or whoever it was a couple years ago. Okay, you got CMC who's still playing lights out. Kittle's going to be fine. He's going to be healthy, but just get the excuses ready. The Niners will not beat us. I'm not saying this to be an egotistical, wild, just a Homer Eagles fan. What I'm trying to say is, like I mentioned before the show started, that the Eagles are playing their best football right now, and we're still not playing complete football. Our defense is going to play lights out. Our offense, they're going to make significant leaps forward when it comes to the playoffs in comparison to where we are at in the regular season. And here's why. We're healthy. You look at the Eagles offense, there's not an injured Eagle that's going to be playing. Lane Johnson's coming back from his Lynn Frank injury from a month off, the best right tackle in football. You have Jalen Hurts, 100% healthy. You have A.J. Brown, 100% healthy and hungry. Devonta Smith, 100% healthy and hungry. Jahan Dotson, 100% healthy and hungry. Saquon Barkley, waiting to have that game. He knows it's coming. You got our backup, Tank Bigsby, just showed that he could probably start on another team somewhere else right now. This Eagles offense is going to click at the right time. We've been waiting for it, and I've learned that when it comes to being a good football team, and I mentioned this before, I think on the podcast a while back, but when you haven't had success for a long time, you kind of look at the game differently. Well, now it's the Eagles' time. We are the face of the NFL. This is our league. Whether people want to believe it or not, whether you think Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback, top 5 quarterback or not, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. We already got the best of the Chiefs. It's an Eagle world right now. We're the most hated franchise right now, and it's not just because of the fandom, and not just because of who we are as a team. It's because we're good. When you're good, you end up getting that. I call it the Patriots Tom Brady hate, where it's like you only hate us because you ain't us, and it's here, and it is what it is. What you guys don't understand is when it comes to playoff football, it truly, truly is a different beast. And when I say you guys, I'm not talking about Niners fans. You guys have been there. You've been to Super Bowls. You've seen it. You guys have won plenty of playoff games. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The playoffs are a different beast. Okay, there's a reason why teams like the Cowboys, they can't do anything in the playoffs, but they play phenomenal in the regular season. You can even throw in the Chargers there a little bit. To go to the playoffs, they don't really do much in the playoffs. You can throw in teams even like the Bills. Nobody wants to talk about Josh Allen's terrible record in the playoffs because he's been there so many times, but he does not win. He's not a winner in the playoffs. They're a different beast. This is where the good teams show up and they execute. There's not a chance in hell that the Philadelphia Eagles first round flop. I would say primarily it's because of the health. We have a healthy offense. They know they haven't played well all season long. They know they have to show up. They know that the defense have been carrying all season long. Our defense is one of the top defenses in the league without a doubt. And it's going to be a home game. I don't foresee the 49ers coming in with, 2/3 of their team in handling this on the road. I just really don't. The vibe's going to be high in the link. Like I said, the offense is going to be ready to show out, and this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be a game where we're going to see the Eagles probably put up at least 24 to 27 points, and I can give the San Francisco 49ers 21 to 23 points, somewhere around there. So it's going to be a high-scoring game. I definitely would take the over, and I will give the Niners a little bit of I won't say credit because that hasn't happened yet, but just something to look out for. I think that the Niners are going to come out and you guys are going to take a lot of shots immediately. You guys are not going to be hesitant. You know that what the vibes are going to be like. You're going to be looking for that revenge. And for a fact that if you play a slow game against this defense, it's not going to pan out good for you. All it takes is 2 big Saquon runs and that game's over if you guys do that. So just be on the lookout for the Niners to just try some things that they probably shouldn't try. Those receivers are going to be, you're going to have guys like Demarcus Robinson, probably getting like 4 or 5 targets this game. You're going to have guys like Jawan Jennings, who's, going to be getting a ton of targets as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they completely just get away from the run game and they just throw all game long. So I just think that this game is going to be fireworks, but at the end of the day, the more complete team is going to win this game, and that's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, trying my best not to be a homer, but it's just we're playing our best football right now, and we have the record that we have while playing terrible on offense. We won the division while playing terrible on offense. In these last few weeks, we have showed signs that this offense is not actually gone. They've just been hiding for a little bit. So we're gonna see this offense just pan out and show up, and hopefully the defense can keep doing what they're doing, and it'd be nice to shut you guys out entirely. I can see this game going one of two ways. It's going to be either 13-40 Philadelphia, or it's, like I said, it's going to be 24-27-ish Philadelphia, 21-23-ish San Fran. But at the end of the day, the Eagles will win.
All right, Kevin. You want to continue?
I was thinking, I think we should go Niners, Eagles, just kind of mix it up. So I know you just took a lot of bashing right there. So I want you to, while it's nice and fresh, I want you to just get out what you're feeling right now. Because I saw your face. Kaz was saying a lot of things. I'm not going to come on here and do that because last time I projected ass kicking, y'all wore black Air Forces and did the ass kicking. So I would love to hear your thoughts, Shaun.
Well, given the fact that Toddy had to step away right now, and we can't necessarily go back and forth with 2-2, I just wanted the Eagles fans to present their case, and I shall respond to that unless Toddy's able to rejoin us before this segment is over. So, Kevin, if you could, please go ahead.
Well, Kaz, the last time we played them, everyone wants to think about the playoff, the NFC Championship game. Last year on our 100th episode, one of my worst takes was we were going to beat them 42-7. I don't remember what the score was, but it was very much the opposite
42 to 19. 42 to 19.
Very much the opposite way. So I was very far in between. So I'm gonna come on here and humbly say we're gonna beat the shit out of the Niners. I'm not taking the humble route. I'm coming on here to say last time you guys played us, there was a guy named Quez Watkins. You probably don't even know who Quez Watkins is. We had just fired Jonathan Gannon coaching plays. We had James Bradbury and Eli Ricks taking quarterback routes. That ain't the case no more. And while we're talking about corners, Adoree Jackson, my brother, if you ever see this, I apologize for all the bad things that I have said about you, all the bad things that I put on your name, because Keely Ringo, oh my God, boy, oh boy, was that boy bad. So why am I feeling so confident? Why am I essentially looking past this game? I think Nick Sirianni sat our guys because he wanted this matchup. He wanted to come in here and say, we want San Francisco. Can we go beat the Packers? Of course, we own them. But this is the game that will start another Super Bowl run because all people are talking about is the last time they played us. We're doing warm-ups and they're running through our warm-up line. They're punking us. From the jump, the Niners said, fuck you guys, we're going to come in here and win this game. We are no longer that team. This is a team that is healthy. We're firing on all cylinders. We got Nakobe Dean back. Kaz mentioned it. We're getting Lane Johnson back. This is the first year in Jalen Hurts' career where he's coming into the playoffs healthy. So we're going to see Jalen Hurts be able to beat Jalen Hurts. There's a lot of guys that make big time plays, and he's one of 6 quarterbacks to make it to the Super Bowl twice in 5 years, and it's because he's damn good quarterback. Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champion, Jalen Hurts. We're healthy on all cylinders. I'm not going to say I'm not scared of you guys because if you guys were healthy, I feel like this would be a different conversation. But as of all of us being athletes, we understand what a gut punch feels like. And I don't know how you guys are going to react after that. Even Kyle Shanahan said it, it really sucks. We were expecting to have 2 home games and, just like that, just like Shaun said, you go from competing for number 1 to being a 6 seed. They have the better record. I mean, they did play the Titans and the Colts, and we don't have to go over their weak scheduling. At the beginning of the season, they have the easiest schedule in the NFL. So I think they should just be happy to be here, healthy or not. I have been one guy who has been screaming from the rooftops, if you stop Christian McCaffrey, you stop this team. I don't know if Ricky Pearsall is going to play. He's played like 3 games all year. So if he would go out there, that'd be a really nice boost for you guys. But the way I look at it is we're going to do exactly what Seattle did to them. Seattle's the number 1 in scoring defense. We're number 5. They give up 14 points a game. We give up 19. This defense is a Super Bowl caliber defense. So we're going in with this mindset is all we have to do is score 21 points. We're not going to give up 3 touchdowns. And yes, I get it. There's games, all the games that you look at that we lost, I feel like are anomalies. World season high rushing yards for the Bears, 262 yards. Jackson Dart's career game. The Denver Broncos comeback. We can go on and on about the losses, but I feel very, very confident. And I know, Toddy, you weren't here for this, but we talked about how last time you guys played us, I said 42-7, ass kicking, and you guys kicked our ass. And I told Shaun, so I want to look you in your face and say, I'm not taking the humble route, Toddy. We're going to kick your guys' ass and move on. So with that being said, I would love to hear what you guys think about the game.
All right, Toddy, we're going to alternate back and forth between 49ers and Eagles, but I decided to hear the Eagles side first. And so now, if you could, please present the case for the 49ers.
Jalen Hurts doesn't scare me as a quarterback. I mean, he didn't complete a pass in the second half last game. I don't know if you guys watched the
He did complete a pass, if you're being correct. He had 1 yard.
They clanged on to a 13-point
I'm just saying, if we're going to do it, be correct.
Game. It came down to Josh Allen basically skipping a pass to Khalil Shakir at the last second. He probably makes that play 9 times out of 10. I'd say the scariest part about the Eagles is definitely their defense, their D-line, Jalen Carter. Got guys, love their corners. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell was a guy that can make plays. We got to see if they can score. They haven't really been able to score the last couple of weeks. I understand that they have guys like Saquon Barkley, $25 million. Devontae Smith makes about $25 million. A.J. Brown makes about $30 million. We understand that those guys alone can make plays. Jalen Hurts has to be able to get them the ball. I understand that the 49ers defense is depleted. We don't have any linebackers as of currently right now. But I do think this game is going to be very close. The Eagles are favored by 3 points only for a reason.
4.5 now.
Oh, it's 4.5. Well, that's great.
It's only
that
getting
should
worse.
be at least a touchdown favorite. So that scares me. Usually you get 3 points just for being at home. So if this was on a neutral field, you got to be like a 1.5 point favorite. Brock's got a ball out. Don't know if Trent Williams and or Brock or Ricky Pearsall is going to play in this game. I do believe Trent Williams is going to play. That'll be a big help as far as the D-line pressure that we will be facing will be immense. I don't know if it will be similar to Seattle's front. I do think Seattle's defense is better than the Eagles' defense as a whole standpoint. I think the Eagles have better players. But I think just as a whole, as a standpoint, Seattle's defense is better, probably slightly. Very similar though. I think we do have the coaching advantage. I think Shanahan kind of runs miles around Nick Sirianni just as far as what he's been able to do this season with a depleted team. Everybody will probably say that he has a coaching advantage. I just think that the Eagles definitely have the player advantage as far as it goes as player for player, guys who are healthy, who's not. Eagles definitely have better players available, I should probably say. I think it's going to come down to who can force the other team to kind of force them into their game plan. Can the Eagles consistently score? They haven't been able to do it, I'd say, throughout the last 6-7 weeks of this year. They sat their players last week, so they will be probably a little bit rusty. We'll see how that goes. I think Brock's going to play a lot better than he did last week. Kind of through the whole game plan was thrown off because he didn't really have time to throw the ball. Seattle's corners are very sticky. I do think it's going to be a very close game, albeit it is in we're on the road. We were just fighting for the number 1 seed. Now we're on the road, guys. So I think this game coming up is going to be very intense. I think it's going to be pretty low scoring. I think it'll be like a 24-21 type of game. Eddie Pinheiro walk-off. Give me the Niners to win 24-21.
That's the biggest difference between the 49ers now versus the 49ers last season or even the year before that is the liability known as Jake Moody is no longer around. And yeah, we've talked about all the different injuries that the 49ers have had this season. I mean, Fred Warner, he's been out since the Buccaneers game, which was like week 5 with an ankle injury, but he could return for the playoffs. And if the 49ers were to win this game, a lot of reports are saying that Fred Warner could return by the divisional round, which would be absolutely massive for the 49ers after they lost Tatum Bethune, rookie linebacker who stepped in and played great in place of Fred Warner. He tore his groin against the Seahawks. He's out for the season. So if the Niners can get past this game, they're going to have a huge piece of their team coming back. You look at Nick Bosa, torn ACL. He's not coming back. It's unfortunate. Brock Purdy missed 6 games this season. Ricky Pearsall's missed 8. George Kittle, he's missed 4 weeks. Brandon Ayuk hasn't taken a snap all season. The most that we've seen Brandon Ayuk at Levi Stadium is driving 100 miles an hour past the stadium. That's Brandon Ayuk's 2025 season in a nutshell. But yet, as Toddy just said, the 49ers found a way to get to 12-5. And you look at
and finished third in our division. Hold on. I'm sorry, Shaun. I don't mean to cut you off.
Okay.
Kevin starts talking. He goes, he does these things where he just says,
I struck a nerve, Cass.
Cupcake schedule. Cupcake.
I'm just listening to this bullshit.
The Rams twice. We got to play against Seattle twice. Their division sucks. They're jinx. And they lost to the Giants. And they lost to the Commanders. Like, what are we talking about? So
and the Cowboys. They blew a 21-0 lead against the Cowboys,
Our
Jaevon.
division is the toughest division in football. And we played some teams that probably on the schedule, if you look back at the schedule, probably week 1, you're like, oh, we got the Jags, we got the Browns, we got this, we got that. Jags won their division. We lost to them. We played Houston, top team in their division as well, lost to them. So, I mean, I don't think our schedule was as easy as everybody says that it was because we played a lot of really good teams on that schedule and won some of those games. And, I mean, we played almost as much playoff teams as the freaking Eagles did. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, I think it's going to come down to coaching because I do think the player advantage is for the Eagles, and I think the Niners have the scheme coach advantage. And when that comes into play, I think Kyle Shanahan could dance circles around Nick Sirianni when it comes to calling a football game. I think he is a mastermind when it comes down to it. So, and I think that's going to play a big advantage, especially on the road. And the Niners have the ability to run the ball, and that goes a long way in the playoffs. And we'll see how it goes. Can't let Saquon break any of his estranged long. He hasn't really had a lot of long runs this year, but if anybody's going to do it, it'd be us because our D-line isn't the best. So, I mean, like I said, the Eagles team, their players, like I just already named all the guys that they have, talent-wise available, who they have available versus who we have available, the Eagles have the advantage. But I do think the Niners have heard that same song and dance all year long and still find a way to get it done. And that's what I think is going to happen. It's not going to be pretty, but I do think the Niners come out on top. Sorry about that, Shaun.
I'm just really curious, Shaun and Toddy.
Hold on, guys. Let's Shaun finish his monologue first.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
So let's let him finish. Because I already know it's gonna be another 20 minutes, so let's let Shaun get his.
I just have a question. Yeah, go ahead, Shaun.
No, I want to hear it. Go ahead, Kaz.
You guys actually think you're gonna win this game? like you guys act like this is not like I hope so. It's like you think you're gonna win this game.
I think we're gonna win.
I do. I don't think like Kaz, when you were giving your analysis on this game, you said it's going to be one of two things. Either it's going to be an Eagles blowout win or it's going to be a close game. And you credit to you, Kaz, like when you were presenting the close game case, like you did give the 49ers a bit of credit just by saying, okay, it could be 24-21 Eagles. It could be 23-20 49ers. I feel like the 49ers are going to win this game. And it's just because this season, it's just been a remarkable season of finding a way. That's what Toddy said earlier that really stuck with me. Finding a way. You look at this 12-5 record for the 49ers. 4 of those losses are against playoff teams. We're not talking about last year's schedule. 4 of those losses are against current playoff teams. The only other loss was to the Buccaneers, who they got knocked out of the playoffs by Kirk Cousins after Kirk Cousins told Baker Mayfield, go win the NFC South. And then Kirk Cousins proceeded to win 3-4 games in a row. And the NFC South, which is arguably one of the worst divisions in football, right next to the NFC East. I mean, the NFC East at least has one good team. The NFC South was extremely mediocre. And the Buccaneers are the only team that the 49ers lost to this season that didn't end up making the playoffs. But they were extremely close to getting there. Then you look at the Eagles' schedule, like, yeah, the Eagles lost to the Chargers. They lost to the Bears. They lost to some decent playoff teams. But then, as Toddy was alluding to earlier, they also lost to the Cowboys after being up 21-0 in Dallas. And they lost that game. They also lost to the Giants. They got boat raced by the Giants, 34-17. As Nipsey Hussle would say, double up. And so the Eagles, to me, they have gotten here because their division is not good at all. Like I just mentioned, like the Eagles, they went 3-3 in this awful division. But yet the 49ers go 4-2 in by far, without a doubt, the best division in football, where you have all of these teams. I believe the Rams are also 12-5. You got Seattle at 14-3. And yeah, the 49ers, they just lost that game against Seattle at home, and it was ugly. I was in pain throughout that game because, like, there is not even the Eagles. I hate no team more than the Seattle Seahawks. I hate the Seahawks. They are at the very top of my shit list, dating back to Richard Sherman and all that. The Seahawks are the team that I hate the most in the NFL. So to see the 49ers play a game like that against that team, that's what pained me the most. But yet, somehow, some way, just like the 49ers have found a way to get to 12-5 without their 2 best defensive players, without half of their great offensive players missing half of the season, including their starting quarterback, the 49ers just seem to find a way. And, you know, they almost found a way in that Seahawks game. They got dominated by Seattle, and yet they were still in it in the fourth quarter. And their best drive of the game, which was a tip pass, which Christian McCaffrey is unable to haul in, that was behind him. It gets picked off. The game's over from there. But yet somehow, some way, the 49ers were still in that game against the best team in the NFL. I can definitively say the Seattle Seahawks are the best team in the NFL right now. But the 49ers always seem to find a way. And even after that loss, I was really upset about it. The 6-game winning streak got snapped. But the thing I kept telling myself is, you know what? Like, let's find a positive in this. The positive is the season's not over. It's not like the 49ers were in the position that the Buccaneers or the Panthers were in, and the Panthers got in because of other circumstances. But the Buccaneers and Panthers, or better yet, the Steelers and the Ravens, they were in a win or go home situation. You win the game to get into the playoffs, their playoffs already started. The 49ers were playing for the 1 seed, something that the Eagles can't say. And so it's like, you know, the 49ers played in the best division in football this season, and yet they're the number 6 seed despite all the injuries, and it's because they continue to find a way. And in this game, I feel like, I mean, Kaz, you gave the 49ers a little bit of credit. I didn't hear shit from Kevin, and I'm going to go back and clip things that you guys have said, and you can do the same to me.
Shaun. You go and clip them.
But I'm going to go back and clip what both of you said after this game, and I'm going to put it out all over social media.
No, you
because okay, I won't because the Eagles are going to win, right?
Yep.
But the overall point is I feel like a lot of Eagles fans and even this Eagles team are overlooking the 49ers because of all their injuries. But yet the 49ers seem to find a way. And just to wrap up my thoughts on this is, as I was saying, that loss against Seattle was dreadful, but yet it didn't end the season. The 49ers lived to fight another day. And even before Sunday and the games happened, I was saying, you know what? A roadmap of Philadelphia, Seattle, and LA back to the Super Bowl? Man, that would be nice because 49ers already won in Seattle this season. They already won in LA this season. They haven't won in Philadelphia this season, but the last time they were there, they won by 23 points. And Kevin, you laid it out perfectly earlier. It's a different Eagles team than we saw a couple years ago. But if the 49ers just find a way, then they have 2 division opponents that they've already beaten this season. Most likely. That's assuming the Rams get to the NFC Championship game. If the 49ers win this game and the Packers don't beat the Bears, the 49ers would get that rematch with the Seahawks. But the point is, yeah, the 49ers don't get to play at home throughout the entire postseason leading to the Super Bowl in Santa Clara, but they can still find a way. And I believe in the 49ers. And so my official prediction is the 49ers win this game. Just as Toddy said, on a Eddie Pinheiro field goal, I'm going to go 30-26. No, 30-27. 49ers.
Kaz, I see you itching. Let me get this in here real quick, man.
Go ahead.
I'm listening to this, and I feel like I've heard this every year. You know, Kevin, Kyle Shanahan, he coached all the injured guys every year. He gets us across that line. Not this year, not last year. We're always hurting. We always find a way. When you guys is going to admit that you guys is always hurt? Every year it's, we did it again. We got across that finish line with our injured players every season. Like, we get it. You guys are always hurt. Congratulations. Like, you're in the dance. We get it. Every year you guys have to make sure that you throw out there, this guy was hurt, CMC was hurt, Kittle was hurt. I mean, when are we going to stop talking about this? It happens every damn season. Let's just pencil it in. We're going to have 4 or 5 season-end injuries, and it is what it is. Before I pass it to Kaz, I wish the Niners players felt as confident because you guys mentioned George Kittle, and all he did in his press conference was say, "Go Cardinals." So maybe you guys should go suit up because he damn sure didn't want to come to Philly.
It has nothing to do with Philly. It more so had something to do with the fact that George Kittle wanted to play whoever came out of the NFC South because anyone would want to play who came out of the NFC South.
Why?
Kevin, would you rather play
the good team? You want to play the bad team? That's what you're telling me right now. You're going to explain to me that you're the best tight end in football wants to go to Carolina versus going to Philadelphia. How are you going to?
Because number one, it was looking like it could have been Chicago or Philadelphia, and number two, playing a team from the NFC South is basically like another bye. We remember when the top 2 seeds used to get a bye. That this year, playing a team from the NFC South is basically like getting another bye. Just like playing a team from the AFC North is like getting another bye.
What's your record versus NFC South this year?
I think it was 2-2. They lost to the Texans.
No, your record.
NFC South. They lost to the Buccaneers. They beat the Panthers. They beat the Falcons, and they beat the Saints. 3-1. 3-1.
So you beat the Panthers and you feel real good, so you want to go back, huh? Why don't you want to come to Philly? The Rams. We purposely sat because we wanted the smoke. This man is on national television saying, "Go Cardinals." Could you imagine Jalen Hurts saying, "Go Cowboys"? Go Giants? Go Commanders? Never in his fucking life. But hey, that's what they do in Santa Clara, man.
Can Jalen Hurts throw for over 200 yards?
Here we go.
Man.
He's about to.
I wish you guys were putting on pads because your own players didn't want to come. But you guys are damn confident.
All I'm going to say is this. Just a couple things. One, you keep talking about how Kyle Shanahan's this great mastermind coach finds a way to win. Christian McCaffrey is why you're winning. That's why. It's him. It is Christian McCaffrey. That's it. You take him out of the equation, you're cooked. Yes, he single-handedly is that good at football to where it's like just run the offense through CMC and pray to God our defense to get a couple stops here and there, and we can at least get 3 or 4 touchdowns out of this motherfucker for the most part. Okay? It's CMC. All right? Secondly, okay, let's not pretend like the Eagles just out here just playing like ass on offense. How many yards did AJ Brown have this season? I think he broke 1,000. How many yards did Devonta Smith have this season? I believe he broke 1,000.
One of two teams with 2 receivers with 1,000 yards, by the way.
Oh yeah, one of two. Dallas Goedert. How many touchdowns did he have this season? Obviously win the division. Obviously, we don't have a bad record. We had to deal without our superstar right tackle and our center playing like absolute dog shit most of the season. Cam Jerkins.
Okay, the Pro Bowler.
Yeah,
so that's the Eagle standard. Not good enough.
No, wait a second. Saquon was like a bottom like 5 running back starter in the league for all season. This is what I'm talking about. If y'all think that when the playoffs comes around that's just going to continue on as we're getting it going now, it's like it's clicking now. Like we're seeing the balls get ripped every which way direction from Jalen Hurts to whoever. Okay, we're seeing Saquon having games over 100 yards rushing and stuff like that. It's happening now. This, you know what? Maybe I gave you guys a little bit too much credit because I did say, you guys understand that playoffs are a different beast. I take that back. Maybe y'all don't know. Maybe because I'm like, I thought y'all understand where I'm coming from. I thought y'all understand, but I guess not. Because how can you look at the Eagles and go, yeah, that's a team that we're on the road against this team, and we just gonna go to because Jalen Hurts can't throw for 20 yards. We have the most seasoned team in the playoffs right now. Like we are the ones who's done it and been there more than anybody else in the playoffs right now, and we're healthy. But for some reason, this is the end all be all. Well, Shanahan's a better coach, and Sirianni ain't shit. Kevin Batu, and on top of that, we have legitimately one of the worst OCs I've ever seen in my fucking life, and we're still where we need to be. So yes, maybe the division's bad. It's okay. Okay, division's bad. We'll take that. We can't control the fact that our division's bad. Did we lose to the Giants? It is what it is. It's the division games are weird. Teams lose in the division all the time. I'm not worried about us losing to the Giants. I'm not worried about us losing to the Commanders while we rest our starters. I'm not worried about us losing in Dallas. Okay, after being up 21-0. Bad games have happened to every team in the league that is good this year. It's happened to the Seahawks. It's happened to you guys. It's happened to the Rams. Okay, and let's just talk about the Rams for a second. We beat the Rams. Okay,
we own the Rams.
We literally own the Rams. It's the truth. Okay, there's not a team in the NFL right now that I'm fearing, especially you guys, when it comes to the playoffs. Okay, outside of the top 2 teams in the NFC right now, which is the Rams, which you've already beaten, and I agree with what you said, Shaun. Seattle probably is the best team in the NFL right now. They're playing the best football all around. Outside of that, I'm not worried about no goddamn 49er. I ain't worried about no goddamn Green Bay Packer. I ain't worried about I'm not worried about that shit. There's about 3 teams I'm worried about in the NFL right now, and it literally is the teams that I feel would go out there and give our offense a hell of a time, and that is the damn Texans because they have the best defense in the NFL. The Seattle Seahawks because they're the most well-rounded team in the NFL. And I'd probably argue maybe the Denver Broncos, and that's a hard maybe because we should have won that game too. So the fact that the Eagles have shot themselves in their foot and lost these weird games to these teams that we probably should have beat. Okay, I have not watched an Eagles game and every loss that we've had and go, man, I don't know if we can figure this team out. I'm like, what the hell are we doing? You see, there's a difference. There's a difference. I'm going to say it again. I have not looked at one team that we played and lost to and go, oh, shit, man. Fuck, dude. If we have to see it. No, I'm like, we're just not doing anything. We're not being outmanned. We're just shooting ourselves in the foot over and over again with the 12 gauge, with the AA-12 from Call of Duty, okay? That's what we're doing.
Who's to say they won't shoot themselves in the foot again? At all.
What's that?
I said, who's to say they won't shoot themselves in the
because we're playing good football at the right time. We have been here. We have been here, and I thought you guys would understand, but I guess not. Playoffs are a different beast. They truly are.
Let's throw it back to the Niners fans. Let them get their 10 minutes. We got to move on.
We're gonna move on. So I'm gonna conclude it.
And then we got to get through these other games.
Yep. I'm gonna conclude it with this. I respect you guys, okay? I respect the 49ers. I think what you guys have done all season long is tremendous with the injuries because those do matter. But you guys are out of your motherfucking mind if you really think you're coming to fucking Philadelphia and beat us, bro. You're out of your fucking mind. As a matter of fact, I might send you a betting slip, money line straight up Philadelphia, and when you see that amount that I'm betting, and I ain't even got it like that, that's going to let you know how confident I am. So stay tuned for that. I might put that on Twitter. I'm just letting you know.
I love God. Yes, love it.
Well, how I would like to close this segment as we got to get to, I believe, let's see, 5 other games. And then we got to get to the 5 NFL head coaches that were fired as we're almost an hour in here on episode number 174 of Stats Over Politics. Real quickly, I wanted to highlight a couple of YouTube comments as Smooth, a.k.a. Kevin Dent Sr. says, Eagles fans both have the same facial expressions. Next week's podcast is going to be fire. We aren't ducking any of the smoke. Noted San Francisco 49ers fan is Smooth. And Uncle Manny says Vaughn's reactions are laughing emoji. The next podcast will be fire. And Cousin Marcellus says, y'all are speaking as if we haven't been a playoff team for roughly 10 years. And Marcellus, I was thinking that, but I wasn't going to say anything about it because we see the t-shirt that I'm wearing and then it has that Super Bowl patch on it. It's a very unmeaningful Super Bowl patch on this t-shirt because the 49ers have not finished the job in my lifetime or Toddy's, as Kevin is now scratching his Super Bowl patch,
meaningful
actually. Yeah, it actually means something because as Kevin always loves to say, the 49ers have a collection of sweatsuits. And so that's life as a 49ers fan. But the best way that I think we can end this segment is just by looking at everybody's true colors because, you know, we got Kaz. A bet's a bet. It's whatever. See us when it matters.
I love it.
Oh, and we got Kevin Dent. Shout out to our boy Gary, former co-host on this podcast. Oh, look at that beautiful.
Y'all ain't shit, bro. Y'all ain't shit. You guys are not shit, bro. Man, fuck them, bro.
Oh, man.
I just can't wait to see Mako next Monday on a victory.
Poor
Monday.
kid. He had no
For
choice.
San
Yeah, that's
Cheer
sad,
for-
bro. I'm
cheer for a
calling
misery-ass
CPS,
team.
man. This is crazy. You can't do that, bro.
You can't
choice.
do it.
I'm calling CPS, bro. This is crazy.
First football game he ever saw in his life was the Niners losing in the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Yeah, that was tough. Real quickly before we get to the rest of these games, we alluded to some wagers. Are we going to make some wagers here on the podcast? Because we're looking back at these photos. These were all wagers. Like I love to talk some shit, but these were from wagers. So context matters.
I'm ready.
So
Y'all know
Toddy-
what it is.
Toddy, do you want to bet Kevin and then I'll bet Kaz or flip it?
I haven't really
I don't
thought
know.
about it. I'm still thinking about what.
Oh, he's scared now. He's scared now.
It's not. Oh no. It has nothing to do with being scared. It's about the dollar amount. That's what the dollar amount is.
We
What
can make it reasonable, Sean.
thinking about doing.
Reasonable dollar amount.
Kaz, I'll
You
bet
know
you
I'm not
$20.
reasonable.
$40.
Kevin's the.
I'm not reasonable. You know,
Kaz, sorry,
Go
Kevin,
ahead,
go
Sean.
ahead.
You said 40 or 20?
I said 20, you said 40, so we can meet in the middle at 30.
There we
All right,
go.
Kaz.
Yep.
Virtual handshake right
That's
there.
how.
All
That's
right.
how it's supposed to be, Kevin.
Nah, bro. I'm in it to win it.
Kevin said
Big Kevin
Benjamin or
already
nothing.
around.
Benjamin or
Hey,
nothing.
Benji.
That's how you know how confident a man is in his team.
Toddy
I'm
don't want to
confident,
do
I'm
that.
confident in my team, but if you look at my bank account, I can't afford to lose more
Same.
money than that. I'd
Yeah,
love
same.
to make some more money, but yeah. So all right, well, Kevin and Toddy will figure that out off air. It's time to keep things moving here on episode 174 of Stats Over Politics. Shaun Holko alongside Jaevon, Toddy, Kaz Johnson, and Kevin Dent. Guys, let's get to the rest of the games because we just spent
All right,
50
everyone take off
minutes.
your shirts and let's get back to the podcast.
Kevin, when you came out with that Letterman jacket on, I almost had to go grab my gold 49ers jacket that came from my grandpa, but I just knew it was going to get too hot too quick. And
That's why I
so-
took it off as soon as I showed you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll save that for next week. Win or lose, I'll save that for next week. But now, getting to the rest of the games in the NFC, we're getting to another great matchup as we have the 7-seed Packers versus the 2-seed Bears in an NFC North playoff battle. And so, Toddy, we know you're a 49ers fan until you die, but you do have a soft spot for the Chicago Bears, and that's dating back to Caleb Williams' days at USC. And I got to go to the 49ers and Bears game on Sunday Night Football a couple weeks ago with my girlfriend. And while we were at the game, she was telling me, "Oh, don't hate me, but I'm a fan of Caleb Williams. So if you see me happy when he has success," I'm like, "Okay, be happy any other weekend, not today. I don't want to hear it." And then I was telling her, I was like, just so you know, you're not the biggest Caleb Williams fan that I know. That title belongs to Jaevon Toddy. And so, Toddy, as our de facto Bears supporter, if we could get your thoughts on this upcoming game between the 2-seed Bears and the 7-seed Packers.
Yeah, this game is I think it's the first Bears home playoff game since like 2017. Was that the Doink game, Kevin? Weren't you guys part of that game?
Yes, we were.
Yeah. So
I actually just got a memory from that on my Snapchat.
Yeah, the Doink game. That was pretty crazy.
Double doink?
Caleb is the all-time passing leader for the Bears.
Which is sad. Not even 4,000 yards.
It's insane. That was kind of inevitable. I knew that was going to end up happening. I think the Packers are a team that okay, so we go back to couple weeks ago to when the Bears beat the Packers. Bears came back, obviously. Malik Willis was the starting quarterback. Now, I understand Malik Willis has been playing very well in his role. Is probably going to get paid to go to a different team in the offseason. But I think the Packers are just one of those just annoying flies that you can't get out of your ear. And I think they're going to be a pest all game long. I do think the Bears defense definitely has to tighten up, especially what they've been from this whole year. I do think Dennis Allen will end up getting fired in the offseason. That'll be one of the improvements that they need to move off on in the offseason. But I do think Caleb Williams is going to show up and show out in this game. The connection that he's had with DJ Moore over the past couple of weeks has been impeccable. I do think they're getting Rome Odunze back in this game, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Somebody fact check me on that. DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monungai, that two-headed monster, has been working like magic almost the entire year. And the connection that Caleb Williams has had with Colston Loveland these past couple of weeks has been impeccable. So I do think their offense is very potent, very live. Ben Johnson is going to be very aggressive in this game. And yes, they are getting back Rome Odunze, so that'll be a huge help for the Chicago Bears team. That should provide them a big spark. I do think the Bears win this game. I'm going to predict it be 30-24 Bears.
All right, Kevin, tossing it over to you. What are your thoughts on this Packers and Bears matchup?
If there were to be a game where I picked the upset, it'd be this one. Kaz mentioned it. The division games are always a toss-up. They both are 1-1. And the Packers might have swept them if it wasn't for a magical Caleb Williams deep bomb in overtime. So it's going to be a good game. The only reason why I would pick the Packers, I'm not saying I'm 100% confident in them winning, is this is the Bears' first playoff game. This is Caleb Williams' first playoff game. Ben Johnson's first game as a head coach. Rome Odunze. There's a lot of first-timers in there. And not a lot of winning experience. I think Swift might be the only person that's been to a Super Bowl, or maybe the only guy to even win a game. I don't know the roster too well, so I might be wrong on that. But this Bears team is very young, and Caleb Williams goes with the win. Like Toddy said, he was never late. He was just early. So Caleb Williams is a legit quarterback. But I've been telling people all week, I think they're just a year too early. But to get this kind of experience at a home game means the world. And I'm not saying the Packers because that means the Eagles get another home game. But just experience-based. The Packers haven't won a lot of playoff games either, but one, it being a divisional rivalry and this being the Bears' first game at home and since 2017. It's been a long time. It's almost been a decade. Whole new staff. They went through the Justin Fields. They went through a lot of downs to get here. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game plays out. But if I had to put my money, I think if there were to be an upset this week, I would take this game. So I think the Packers pull it out.
Very, very interesting. Kaz, where does your head lie on this matchup?
Yeah, I'm going with my heart when it comes to this game because of what I want. So you guys mentioned the double doink game. Y'all know where I'm from. I'm from the Midwest. I can walk to Illinois from Iowa. The river's right there. Oh yeah, I want Chicago again. So because y'all gotta understand, I don't talk a lot about the Bears, but this is Bears country around here. This is Bears Packersville everywhere here. Sprinkle a little bit of Vikings and the occasional Lions fan. Like one of the girls that I coach with, she's a Lions fan. But it's the Midwest. I was going to go to this Eagles Niners game. Last time I saw Eagles Niners was I did go to the NFC Championship game. Never again in my life will I ever spend that much money on a ticket. That's stupid, but I did it. It's done. It's in the past. But tickets are crazy nowadays, and it's just I can't find it within myself unless I have substantial income to go to a game and make a trip. That's $1,200, $1,100. You know what I'm saying? It's stupid. So I'm like, you know what? Eagles handle business against the Niners like we're going to, obviously. Bears, you need to win this game. I can take a quick drive to Chicago. It's down the street from me pretty much. So drive to Chicago, have a little weekend trip, see my homeboys in Chicago. I have a lot of friends in Chicago that I met from college, and I've been to Chicago quite a bit too. I got family up there as well. So I need the Bears to win this game. I really do. Now, deep down, do I think the Bears are the better team? Yes, I do, actually. I think that Ben Johnson is literally that. He's a game changer. That changed everything. You take him out of the equation, the Packers probably would win this game. But I think the Bears are the better team. I think they have the better quarterback. I'm saying it now. Yeah, Jordan Love's got an extra year. What, 2 years on Caleb? Or a year? Either way, 1 or 2 years on Caleb. I think 2 years. And I can confidently say that Caleb Williams is better than Jordan Love, I think. Just his ability to avoid sacks and extend plays alone, I think that sets him far and beyond Jordan Love, because Jordan Love is not a quarterback that's going to put up a ton of yards every season. He's a guy that you can put into any system, and you get him guys that can make plays, pretty much just don't mess up, and you're good. And that's not a knock. That's not a knock on Jordan Love. I'm saying I think he's a good quarterback, but I think Caleb just is more talented. Bless you. But when it comes to the Packers, you look at the receiving core. If Rome Odunze is back, which he should be back, I like Rome Odunze. I like that Luther Burden dude. Oh my God, I did not know he was that good. DJ Moore is, oh Lord, sorry buddy, but you got to go. The young guys, they're the future in that franchise, and that's that. They obviously have the two-headed monster with DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai. And then again, the main one is Ben Johnson. The Bears are the better team. The Bears are going to be at home. Chicago's going to be rocking. I'm going with the Bears to win this game. I really am. I think the Packers kind of like tirade of owning the Bears coming to a short end here. They don't do enough with that team to really own the Bears anymore. Aaron Rodgers was overkill. That's one of the best passers of all time. They also had guys like Devontae Adams that was there. They also had, just very bad teams for so many years. So Chicago right now is at that transitionary period where it's like, okay, we have the offense. We have guys on defense that makes plays. We have a really good coach. The Packers have good guys here and there. Look at the Packers receiving core. Jaden Reed, to me, I feel like is their best receiver, but people are talking about Christian Watson, how he's had a pretty good year this year. But before that, Christian Watson was a guy who was hated because he was always hurt. Like Packers fans didn't care about Christian Watson. He was supposed to be this guy, but he never became that guy. They're without Tucker Kraft, so they got to run with Luke Musgrave? Or did he get hurt too? I can't even remember. I think he got hurt as well too, didn't he? Either way, it doesn't matter.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I'm saying I thought he got hurt too, but I know for a fact Tucker Kraft, they're tied in one. The Packers just on paper don't have the better team than the Chicago Bears, and they're on the road. Same thing I'm saying about you guys. I can give you all the respect in the world, but you're on the road during the playoffs against a team that has a personnel that is outright better than your personnel. You guys have, not to bring you guys back up, one player on your entire team that is better than the opposing player on our team or equal, and that is Christian McCaffrey. And I have no problem admitting that. The Bears have multiple players. Their receiving core is better than the Packers receiving core. I would take Rome Odunze over Christian Watson. From what I see from Luther Burden, I understand it's early. I would take him over, Jaden Reed. I really would. Okay. Maybe a little early, but I would, though. I've seen enough. That dude's taking over games. I'm like, dude, who the fuck are you? Like, goddamn, bro, I got to give you credit. All right. DeAndre Swift, I probably wouldn't take him over Josh Jacobs, but you know what? It might be a close battle. But that second running back, though, Kyle Monangai, yes. So they're deep in the run game. And again, like I said, Caleb over Jordan Love. Slightly, but over Jordan Love. Respectfully. And then you got the coaches. LaFleur is not a coach that you should fear. Okay? I don't think he's a coach you should fear. I mean, there's nothing about LaFleur that tells me, oh my God, we got to watch out for this guy. He's going to scheme up this game, and his guys are going to be rocking. But I can say that about Ben Johnson confidently. We've seen it. Okay? That Bears franchise has changed so much in the last 2 years. So much. And honestly, they've only made moves from – they didn't go out and sign some big names. You know? You could say Swift's a big name. You could say – DJ Moore, I guess you could say that, but let's be honest. If DJ Moore played for the fucking Carolina Panthers, they were trash. Okay, that DJ Moore signing is not nowhere near close to like an AJ Brown signing, and DJ Moore is a good receiver. So all in all, the Bears just have the better team. They have the better coach. They're at home. The Bears should and they will win this game, and then we're gonna win against you guys, and I'll be in Chicago acting a fucking ass. That has to happen. I need that.
In the cold?
Oh, I'm from the Midwest. That's what we do around here, baby.
Yeah, that's true.
The fuck? Yeah, this ain't shit to us. It was shit negative degrees about 2-3 weeks ago, bro. It's about 45 degrees today. That's what we do around here. Y'all from the West Coast. Y'all understand what it's like over here, bro. So
we pretty kids.
Yeah, y'all pretty kids. Y'all got Beverly Hills and shit up there. We got motherfucking hills and flatland and corn and shit and fucking polar vortex fucking us up. Okay. But all in all, I just really want the Bears to win because after we beat you guys, that means that I can actually go to a playoff game within the comfort of my own home, technically, and see my friends and have a good time. So Bears handle business, win that game. We beat the shit out of you guys comfortably, handedly, terribly. Cavs will be in Chicago.
Another team that the Eagles lost to.
Let's not do this. We're trying to move forward, you guys. We're trying to keep moving.
Yeah, we're moving forward for the sake of time. We got to.
My apologies. My apologies. My apologies.
No, it is all good.
I loved it.
So, yeah, I thought it was a lot of great things that you had to say, and I think you guys all covered it pretty well. For me, I'm going to keep it simple here. The Packers have not been the same since Micah Parsons went down. Like they were able to make it work a little bit once Tucker Kraft went out, but they have not been the same team since Micah Parsons went out. And they were dealing with Jordan Love having a concussion, and Malik Willis did what he could. But for me, this just isn't the same Packers team that we saw earlier this season. And the Bears, they are a good team. They have proven that this year. Ben Johnson has changed the Bears. And so I'm going to go with the Bears to win this matchup. If the Packers had Micah Parsons and he could torment Caleb Williams, I may have leaned the other way, especially given that this is a division matchup. But the Packers just haven't been the same since Micah Parsons went out, and they kind of just fell into the playoffs at the 7th seed. I think their final record was like 9-7-1. And so the Packers, they just aren't contenders for me anymore. So I'm going to go with the Bears in this matchup. And as we continue here on episode 174, I just wanted to highlight a couple of YouTube comments. Toddy or Kevin, maybe you can help me pronounce this name because I don't know how to say it properly.
I got you.
This person said both of your names, so I assume you guys know him.
Ephraim Koner.
Ephraim Koner says, F the Niners, Seahawks all the way, Effers. Kevin didn't believe in Jalen Hurts when they first drafted him. I have receipts with 5 exclamation marks. Ephraim also says, Toddy, not a real Niners fan.
Oh.
And shout out to my girlfriend, Allie, who says, cool shirt, Shaun. Yeah, she got this for me for Valentine's Day a while ago. And so I appreciate her for that. And so keeping things moving, getting to the next game. And this is the final game in the NFC. And it is the 5-seed Rams at the 4-seed Panthers. And we saw this matchup about a month ago. And the Panthers won in a bit of a shocker. But as Kaz was saying earlier, the playoffs are a different beast. And so I'm going to toss it to Kaz first on this one. Just what are your thoughts on this upcoming matchup in a rematch from something we saw about a month ago?
Muted.
My bad. Thank you.
All good.
Rams. Shout out Carolina. I think that the Bucks would have gave them a better run for the money. I think if the Bucks were there, I think that this would be a game that take the upset. Take the Bucks to handle business. Baker's been to the playoffs, obviously more than Bryce Young. Todd Bowles, he also has experience as well. You gotta understand, listen, there's guys on that Bucks team that have a ring. Like Tom Brady was there not too long ago, and they have a Super Bowl ring. So again, that experience is really big. I think that if it was the Bucks, would have been a good game. I think this will be a very embarrassing game for the Carolina Panthers, and that's not saying much about the Panthers because they are just far more inferior to the LA Rams. The LA Rams, to me, right now, I mean, Matthew Stafford, we'll see if he gets the MVP, him or Drake May, one of the two. But regardless, that's the MVP caliber quarterback. Devontae Adams has been out for a handful of weeks now. They didn't even need him for the most part. Puka Nacua is I'm a really big fan, by the way. That is a monster. That dude is like someone that he reminds me of a he's like a blend of like a Calvin Johnson and like a Tyreek Hill, where it's like not speed wise Tyreek Hill, just like dynamic. It's like, dude, like the fuck do you do? This guy's on drugs. And Puka Nacua is freshly out of a relationship, if I'm not mistaken, because of some allegations and things that's gone. So he's an angry man. He's a very angry man. I think I saw a clip.
He's had a tough season.
Yeah, I think I saw a clip. Yeah, I think I saw a clip of one of the coaches. Not sure if it was like a defensive offensive coordinator or whoever it was, but somebody saying like, "Hey man, let that fire out, let the anger out, bro." And I'm like, they were referencing what he was going through with his ex-girlfriend. Puka is fucking scary. That is not a guy that I would want to see if I was a cornerback. This will probably be a 34-10 game, 34-6, 28-3. It might even be like a 24-0 game, but there's no chance in hell the Carolina Panthers at home even hold a candle to the LA Rams. And I'm saying that from a very respectful standpoint. I just think I know the Rams are the better team. They have the better coaches. They have the better everything. And when I say the better everything, it is significantly better. From quarterback to receivers. Hell, you could argue defense from Carolina. They have some guys on defense that can make some plays, but holy shit, this can be a bad game for the Carolina Panthers. Rams up.
Kevin, what about you?
Belt ass. I think the one thing that comes out of this is the Panthers. I think they're a year early as well. With the Bucks decline, the Falcons firing their coach kind of in shambles, the Saints being the Saints, I feel like the Panthers are going to go on a semi-run here in this division. But like Shaun and I have been mentioning, when you bring up the NFC South, there's a laughing stock. So it's going to be a lot of emotions, first year, first playoffs for a lot of those guys. But I think the one positive that came out of this is Bryce Young showed that he could be a franchise guy. So him being a California native, I know he started off really rough. So it's nice to see him find a home. And he solidified that he's going to be the guy moving forward. But like Cass said, I'm taking the Rams in the landslide.
I'm also taking the Rams. I don't know if I'll necessarily say a landslide. I do think that, as Kaz was presenting earlier with the 49ers and Eagles game, it's either going to be a Rams blowout win or the Rams win by 7 to 10 points. I don't know if I'll necessarily say a landslide, just because the Panthers, they do have a sense of confidence coming into this game. Dave Canales, their head coach, was saying, because we did beat them a month ago at home, that does make us feel better going into this matchup. But the Rams won the Super Bowl 4 years ago. They still have a chunk of those players, including Matthew Stafford, as has been highlighted. I've been saving this for a pop quiz, but it's kind of getting stale, so I'm just going to read it now. You look at quarterbacks in NFL history with 30 passing touchdowns and fewer than five interceptions to start a season. You got Aaron Rodgers did it 3 times. Tom Brady did it in 2007. Patrick Mahomes did it in 2020. Matthew Stafford did it to start this season. That's the year that he had to start it off. And then you also look at playoff wins among the QBs who are going to be in this year's postseason. Matthew Stafford ranks 4th with 5, and he has a Super Bowl win. And I wasn't going to talk about this, but Jalen Hurts is third at 6 wins. And so congrats to him. But Matthew Stafford is at fourth with 5 and a Super Bowl trophy. And you look at all the quarterbacks that are in the playoffs this year, like we talk about, no Burrow, no Lamar, no Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the guy that's not in it this year. But if you just look at all the quarterbacks who are in the playoffs this year, there's only 3 that have a Super Bowl championship. It's Matthew Stafford, Jalen Hurts, and Aaron Rodgers. That's it. And so I'm taking the guy who has been there, done that, and that's Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Toddy had to step away, but I'm assuming he would take the Rams as well to make it a clean sweep. Now, guys, let's get to the AFC. We're starting off with the 6-3 matchup in the AFC as well, because to me, this is going to be the best matchup on the AFC side this upcoming weekend, as you have the 6-seed Bills playing at the 3-seed Jacksonville Jaguars. And Kevin, I know you used to have a soft spot for the Jaguars just because of your boy, Dougie P. He's no longer around, but Liam Cohn, he has, and I'll start it off on this game. Liam Cohen has unlocked Trevor Lawrence. I said at the beginning of the season that Trevor Lawrence is a bust given the expectations that he had coming into the NFL. I'm here to tell you all now, I was wrong. He's not a bust. He has finally shown what we all have been waiting for. And Liam Cohen is the one to unlock it. This was the hardest game for me to predict. I went back and forth multiple times, and I initially went with the Jaguars. I think I leaned towards the Jaguars for 3 reasons. Because they're playing at home, because they've been rolling lately, and also because they have Eric Armstead from Sacramento, California. Shout out. But I went back and forth, and then I thought back to what I said on this podcast about a month ago, once we saw the Chiefs were flaming out. This is the best opportunity that Josh Allen has had in his career because Patrick Mahomes is not in the playoffs. I was talking about the quarterbacks who have wins in the playoffs and where they rank. Josh Allen is second with 7 playoff wins in his career. He's sandwiched right in between those 3 guys who have rings. Josh Allen is second. Aaron Rodgers is first with 11. Then I mentioned Jalen Hurts with 6, Matthew Stafford with 5. Josh Allen, if he's going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon, this is the year. And it can't happen if you get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs, whether you're at home or not. So I'm taking the Bills to win this one. And I think it's going to be close. It's going to be a great game. But I'm rolling with Buffalo and Bills Mafia. No one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Kevin, on to you.
Liam Cohen figured it out. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars. 1, because The Simpsons said the Jaguars are going to win 25-0, so, they're always right. But secondly, the Bills just haven't been good this season. I know when they let go of Stephon Diggs, they really went into this mantra of Josh Allen's going to be the best player on the field, and he's going to give us MVP-like performances every Sunday. And we haven't seen that. There's been a lot of inconsistencies. Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir. The only 2 consistent things about the Bills is Josh Allen and James Cook. This Jaguars defense is legit. I think the Jaguars win. Josh Allen has not won a road playoff game in his career. He is 0-4 on the road, and the Bills are 0-8 in their last 8 away playoff games. So I think the Bills they're just too beat up right now, man. They don't have a lot of things going right for them. So with that being said, I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars in this game. Cass, who are you taking, the Jags or the Bills?
I don't believe in the Jags. I don't. I don't care about their recent wins. I don't care about the fact that they won the division when the Texans had to do without CJ Stroud. Who else was also hurt? Nico. It's like, come on, yo. It's like, the Niners. Okay, I'm going back to this shit because it struck a nerve. They keep talking about, we're injured, but our coach is this coach. No, DeMeco Ryans in that defense. That's what it looks like when your coach gets in handles business. Given the fact that your offense or other guys around you ain't getting shit done. To have the number one defense in the NFL, knowing your offense is missing all these guys and your offense still finds ways to make plays, yeah, that's what it really looks like. So what I'm going to say is this. The Bills shouldn't even be playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. That division should have went to two teams outside of Jacksonville, and that is obviously the Colts. The Colts were handling business before Danny Dimes got hurt. Okay, this is called what it is. They were. I thought it was a fluke, but you know what? Really, when Jones went out, you saw a complete flip of that team. It wasn't even close. Not the same team at all. Okay, and then you got again the Texans that had been riddled with injury, and coming off a very bad season last year. With CJ Stroud being in that sophomore slump. But the Texans have the best defense in the NFL. Jacksonville, I think I like the 5-game series. In a 5-game series, you give me Jacksonville going against the Houston Texans, give me Texans 4 out of those 5 games, without a doubt. They're obviously winning 3, but at least 4 out of the 5 games, if we had to go the entire distance. So with that being said, Shaun made a good point. If the Bills are going to do it, it's probably now. I think the Bills, just like the Cowboys and Dak Prescott, they've had the teams that they've needed to make a run toward a Super Bowl. They're probably not going to have many more years where that team exists. They got a good head coach. Obviously, Josh Allen is called what it is. That's a great quarterback. It's a good ass quarterback. All right. You got James Cook. That's a really good running back. One of the best running backs in the NFL, one of the most versatile running backs in the NFL. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. He can give it to you any way you want on any given Sunday, right? They have competent tight ends. They have, the veteran Dawson Knox, and they have Dalton Kincaid, who, when he's healthy, he's one of the best tight ends in the NFL, if you were to ask me, if he gets the ball. The receiving core, not the best, obviously, but they still have guys that can make plays. And then their defense can be mediocre because why? They have Josh Allen on offense. Sometimes offense can win football games. It's not what you want to depend on, but it's a possibility. So with that being said, Jacksonville, I'm not all in on them now because Jacksonville shouldn't have been in that position in the first place, like I said. It should have been the Houston Texans. I'm not buying it. They're at home. I think that Trevor is playing well. Travis Etienne's playing well. They don't have a Travis Hunter, obviously, but they got guys that can make tremendous plays on within the receiving core. But I think that the more experience wins. Josh Allen has been in the playoffs quite a bit. I mentioned earlier that he doesn't have the best playoff record. He's not in the playoffs just winning a bunch of playoff games. He has a lot of wins, but he also has a lot of losses too because he's just been around for so fucking long. So when it's all said and done, I think that experience is going to be the one that's going to give the Bills the advantage. Shout out to Trevor Lawrence. I mean, you did prove me wrong a little bit. I still think you're kind of trash. But I'm not giving him credit because of one good season. I'm not. Okay, because honestly, this ain't even the best Jags team that we've seen with Trevor Lawrence. They set the house 2 years ago to get guys over there, Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, a fresh Travis Etienne and guys like that, and your big guy, number 1 overall pick, Trevor Lawrence, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I'm not trying to hear it from the Jacksonville Jaguars and this team. They're a solid team. They're not the best team out of the division, but they're hosting a playoff game, and they're going to lose to the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills will move on.
Toddy, just for the sake of time, we're going to have to skip your analysis on this game, but could you give us a pick?
Jags.
Hell yeah.
All right. Splitting it right down the middle with Jags and Bills. Moving on to the 5-seed Texans playing at the 4-seed Steelers. I'll start this off, and I kind of alluded to it earlier. Like, I'm happy for Aaron Rodgers. Glad he got into the playoffs. And I also was talking about in the intro how it seemed like based on one kick, it basically determined who got fired, whether if it was John Harbaugh or Mike Tomlin. And because Tyler Loop missed the field goal to win the game for the Ravens, the Steelers moved on to the playoffs. I'm happy for Aaron Rodgers, but this is the AFC's bye. And so I'm taking the Texans. That defense, as has been said earlier, is arguably the best defense in the NFL. Shout out to DeMeco Ryans. I'm happy for him as a former 49ers coach. And Coleridge Bernard, as Kevin always likes to say. I mean, his team has been gutted this year by injuries, especially offensively. I mean, Joe Mixon sat on my IR the entire season with fantasy football. I was hoping he was going to come back. Once I realized he wasn't going to come back, I tried to trade him to Kevin, but Kevin was too smart to take him. And so the Texans, just like the 49ers, they have found a way, and it's been because of their defense. And so I'm taking the Texans to win this game by double digits. Toddy, how about you?
Yeah, I think the Texans are going to win. I think the defense as a whole all year has been pretty potent. Don't love that they gave up almost, I think, about 30 points to Riley Leonard. That was a little that was weird. Glimpse in the Matrix. I do think the Steelers' home field advantage is real. Aaron Rodgers, I get it, he's 80 years old, but we saw in that Ravens game, he had a couple of last-second touchdowns to put their team ahead. He led multiple game-winning drives in that game. So Steelers haven't had that in a while. I mean, they had Russell Wilson last year, but he was a corpse, basically. And they've just been having to figure out their quarterback situation, albeit since Big Ben has no longer been the quarterback. So TJ Watt had a really big turnover in that game. The Steelers are going to put up a fight. I don't think it's going to be a double-digit game like Shaun is saying. I think it's going to be a very close game. I do think the Texans find a way to get a win on the road. I think this is C.J. Stroud's first.
Second.
No. I mean, usually when he starts the playoffs, it's at home. Usually, all of his games. So he's starting on the road this year. Hey man, I've been a believer in C.J. Stroud. I've said back in the day he was a top 8 quarterback.
Back in the day,
he's been there for 3 years. There's no hate from C.J. Stroud on this side. Albeit Khalil likes to come to my DMs every now and then and talk shit about Caleb Williams and say C.J. Stroud is better. Blah, blah, blah. But I do think Stroud and the Texans are the AFC is wide open. So they got a goal as an entire team. I think, when you look at it from a standpoint of you drafted C.J. Stroud and you drafted Will Anderson back to back, these are the moments why you draft guys like that to get in these types of positions to make a run in the Super Bowl. So I think the Steelers had a really good season. I think the Ravens obviously should have won that game. Just so happened that Justin Tucker is not their kicker anymore. And now Steelers are in the playoffs, and Mike Tomlin can say he led the Steelers to the playoffs again. I think I was like a game off. I said they would go 10-7. They went 9-8, if I'm not mistaken. So back in August or whenever Aaron Rodgers decided to sign, I predicted 10-7. Was a game off. But I think the Steelers lose this game. I'd say probably another field goal game. Actually, I'll say the Texans won 21-17.
Well, Toddy, you actually did get your prediction completely right because the Steelers did finish 10-7 this year. So you absolutely nailed. Yeah, they went 10-7. Ravens went 8-9. So you absolutely nailed it. Hey, another winning season for Mike Tomlin. I believe that I said 9-8 and you said 10-7. And so I was off. You nailed it. Props to you. Kaz, Texans and Steelers, who do you got?
Yeah, Texans D all day. I think that the Steelers get into the playoffs, like you mentioned, coming down to that kick. The better team did not win that game, and this is no knock toward the Steelers. I really do believe that the Ravens have just been in shambles all season long because of injuries. Harbaugh is a terrible coach. Thank God he got fired. I think he's a terrible coach. And just seeing Derrick Henry open up the game the way that he did, and for that just to be non-existent in the second half on some fucking Philadelphia Eagles type shit where it's like, hey, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. Just keep doing the same. You know what I mean? That's a coaching error right there. But hey, the Steelers won. came down to, nerves and missed field goals, and they're there. I think that was pretty much the conclusion of their season. I don't foresee anybody, even with them getting DK Metcalf back, stopping that Texans defense. It's going to take about 17 to 20 points to win this game, and I think that the Texans offense can do just enough to do that. Now, the only deciding factor that would make me think it would be the Steelers is the fact that it is a home game. It's going to be rocking. It's going to be cold. It's not in Houston, so that could be something different. But all in all, that's the best defense in the NFL. We all know defense wins championships unless it's going against a high-powered offense, and that Steelers offense is the furthest thing from high-powered. The Texans should win this game.
Kevin, I got to blow my nose. Are you going to make this a clean sweep?
Absolutely not. You guys are talking about the Steelers like they don't got goddamn Aaron Rodgers. If it wasn't for 2 broken plays, they beat the shit out of the Ravens. Aaron Rodgers is getting DK Metcalf back. I've heard the name Adam Thielen more Sunday night than I have in the past 4 years. He's coming and playing well. Kenneth Gainwell, Jalen Warren, they're legitimately holding up this team by a thread. And now that they're going to get DK Metcalf back, they have a deep threat back in this offense. I think this game comes down to experience. Like you guys mentioned, Kaz is preaching, the going on the road in the playoffs is a lot. This is C.J. Stroud's first road game. They played the Chiefs and they got demolished in his first one. So this is his second one. But I believe in C.J. Stroud as a quarterback, but this team has a lot of holes. And I get it. You want to talk about the rookies from Iowa State balling out. You want to talk about the non-existent run game there. I think the Steelers get this done. They haven't won a playoff game in almost 2 decades. Mike Tomlin is going to sit here and go like this at the end of the game. Give me the Steelers, baby. Gary, if you're listening, I'm all in, baby. Get the yellow towels, and we going. You muted. Thank
you. It gets the best of all of us. But I know that Gary's not listening right now because there is a Kings game Kings home game that is actively going on right now. And so he is working, but that's why I wore this hat today, the NBA on NBC hat, because the Kings are currently playing on Peacock. And so, hey, that's cool. Hopefully they don't get embarrassed by the Mavericks on national television. But Gary, we hope that you are tuning in a little bit later and hear Kevin siding with your team, because the rest of us certainly aren't. Finally, here on episode 174, the last game from Wild Card Weekend, the 7 seed Los Angeles should be San Diego Chargers at the number 2 seed New England Patriots of Foxborough. All right, I'll start this off and keep it simple. I like this Chargers team. I like what Jim Harbaugh has done with Justin Herbert. Kevin, don't raise your eyebrows too high.
I was going to say,
there's a but. There is a but coming, or a however. But yeah, I like this Chargers team, but I'm not gonna take them against the Patriots. Like Mike Vrabel, he walked in and he completely resurrected the Patriots, and he's making the Titans look like fools for letting him go. Drake May, he's right there with Matthew Stafford as could be the MVP this season, because Christian McCaffrey's not in the discussion because it's a quarterback award at this point. Nevertheless, I'm picking the Patriots just because they have had a great season. I think that's going to continue at least through the wild card round. The Chargers, they could put the Patriots on upset alert. I think this game will be a lot closer than a lot of people think, but I don't believe in the Chargers enough to take them to win this game, because ultimately we always say like the Raiders are going to Raider. Like the Chargers always seem to find a way to lose in important games. I don't know if Jim Harbaugh is necessarily changing that, but I'm going to roll with the Patriots in this game. Kaz, how about you?
This is a tricky one. Because, as the degenerate gambler that I am, I know there's going to be an upset somewhere. There's going to be. There will be one. There won't be multiple. There'll be one.
No, it'll be the 49ers.
No.
All roads lead back to this damn game.
Well, yeah.
This is one of those ones where I'm like, we all know the Patriots had one of the easiest schedules in the NFL, but you know what? I'll give them a little bit of leeway here, though. Good teams, despite who they play, but if they do play a bad team, should beat the shit out of bad teams. And what has the Patriots done all season long? Beat the dog shit out of bad teams. So even though the strength of their schedule, when it comes to wins and losses, they might have had an easier, path to getting that one, not the one seed, but getting, winning their division and, damn near getting the one seed. Let's not pretend like they just, they kind of beat these teams. No, they were beating the shit out of teams, bad. So I don't think the Patriots are a joke, but there's just something about the Chargers, man. I don't know, man. I think that it'll be a close game. But I gotta go with the Patriots still here. I just think that Drake May, potential MVP. I think Herbert will play well. I think that the Chargers, if they weren't riddled with injury in the offensive line, they have two of their starters that are out. Big names, Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, obviously. They're even down to Mekhi Becton, who he's in and out of games. Just ain't gonna be enough, man. I think that the Patriots. They have a great game at home. I think the Chargers probably come back from being down by a lot of points early, make it a close game, but ultimately I got to stick with the Pats, man. That's a complete team, man. And like I said, even though they had an easy schedule, they did what they needed to do with an easy schedule. They don't decide their schedule. That's not in their power. It's just what that's how the cards were dealt. So there's nothing I saw this season that tells me that the Chargers can beat the Patriots on the road. So give me the Patriots.
Toddy?
This is going to be a really close game. I do love both quarterbacks. I think Drake May has obviously had the resurgence of Mike Vrabel. A lot of people do forget about him bringing along Josh McDaniels, who obviously was no seat for Tom Brady during the entire Patriots reign for the most part. Justin Herbert is a hell of a quarterback. He's been playing with a broken hand for a month now, maybe a month and a half, almost 2 months. Got that dub against the Eagles on Monday Night Football. That was kind of the game that we knew, or he was fresh off of the hand surgery and has just been playing crazy ever since. Jim Harbaugh won't stop singing his praises, just saying how he's a superhero, he's a beast, he's this, he's that. Marion Hampton has been coming into his own. Quentin Johnston has been having definitely come. If anyone's live for comeback player of the year, I think he should be definitely in the running for that as well. I just think this Patriots team is very well rounded. Their defense isn't the best, but I do think usually at home in a spot, they've been playing really well. I think they have a lot of momentum going into this year. Obviously, winning the division and knocking off the Bills, who won for 5 straight years, is huge. And them being back in Foxborough as the 2 seed speaks volumes. I think the last time it was like a 1-2 Broncos Patriots. That was Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, if I'm not mistaken. So as far as this game goes, it's going to be a very close game. But I do think the Patriots. I think they win 20-27. I think Herbert's probably going to have the ball in his hands last. I just feel like the Patriots will find a way to get a stop and kind of force them to, don't want to say put the ball in Justin Herbert's hands, but I do think this New England's defense will be able to get off the field a lot more than a lot of people are going to give them credit for. And I just think that Herbert has kind of just been he's known to make a bunch of just he won't give up on plays, and I think that will kind of be his detriment in this particular game. And he might have a turnover that the Patriots might not do. He might throw an interception or two, just trying to take chances down the field, just to give his team the best chance to win. So, albeit that may help him in most games, I feel like in this game it's going to cost him. So I'm going to give
I'm going to take the Patriots to win 20-27.
Kevin, are you going to make it a sweep?
Muted, Kevin.
And
Muted.
you got bit by the muted bug as well. It got the best of all of us today.
God damn it. I'm going to go yes. There's someone in the comments not so happy with all of our takes.
Yeah, I'll read those in a moment. Yeah.
I'm going to go Patriots. If the Chargers were healthy, maybe we'll do this game different. Patriots have shown that they can win the big game. Beating the Bills, the Bills aren't no pushover. But a lot of people gave them credit when we talked about them versus Jags. Justin Herbert just didn't have enough. But I know we've talked about it all episode, and people are going to say, Kevin, you're going back on your word. First home playoff game for basically this whole roster. But they have a guy like Mike Vrabel that's going to lead them to this victory one way or another, whether it's going to be the Stevenson-Henderson show or it's going to be Diggs and the receiving core of nobodies. Matt Collins, Shaun. They're going to find a way to get it done. Drake made the MVP for a reason, and I think this game is going to be a tune-up game for the next game. But the Chargers had a hell of a run, and getting here with the devastating news they had before they even took a regular season snap regarding their O-line says a lot about this team. So I'm not going to sit here and say the Chargers are a bad team, but I think the Patriots are just a better team. So I'm going to take the Patriots.
First, I'll highlight some comments from Gray Wolf, who says, Chargers O-line is folding like an origami. Too many changes throughout the season. Also says Herbert is taking 3 sacks in the next game. And the comments that, and also Gray Wolf adds, Chargers are the Clippers of the NFL, great players, but when it comes to playoffs, you choke every time. I think that is a great analogy right there, Gray Wolf. And the comment that isn't so happy with us is none other than Juan Tinajero, who says, and I apologize if I just butchered your last name, but he says, here's a bunch of guys who don't know ball. Chargers win by 3. Pats had a Mickey Mouse schedule like the Niners. That's something that
struck a nerve. He's mad as hell, boy.
Oh man, I knew like Kevin, before you got a chance to say that, I was just about to say, I bet Kaz and Kevin agree with that. you said it before I even could. And Juan finally says Herbert makes it to the Super Bowl with the worst O-line in NFL history. That would be crazy. That'd be crazy. But stranger things have happened. Finally, as we close things out here on episode 174 of Stats Over Politics, Shaun Holko alongside Jaevon, Toddy, Kevin Dent, and Kaz Johnson. Guys, we got to close things out with some sad news, I guess, in some cases. And that is that 5 NFL head coaches have been fired in the last couple of days since the regular season came to an end. Those coaches are Raheem Morris with the Falcons, who went 8-9, Kevin Stefanski with the Browns, who went 5-12, Pete Carroll with the Raiders, who went 3-14, Jonathan Gannon and the Cardinals also went 3-14, and the shocker of today, unless I believe it was Kaz said that he is a terrible coach, John Harbaugh, after 18 years with the Baltimore Ravens and a Super Bowl championship against Toddy and I's Niners. The Ravens went 8-9 this season. We've been alluding to all episode how one kick determined the fate of 2 coaches, and John Harbaugh was on the opposite end of that, as they said that the Ravens parted ways with him, or it was mutual, same language that they used with Bill Belichick when he moved on from the Patriots. But nevertheless, John Harbaugh is no longer the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens following an 8-9 season, and those 5 firings follow up on the 2 Bryans that were fired midseason, as Brian Callahan was let go by the Titans after a 1-5 start, and Brian Dable was let go by the Giants after a 2-8 start. So, Kaz, I'm going to toss it to you on this one. Just which firing stood out to you the most?
Between those 3?
No, but between the 5 that have happened since the regular season came to an end. So you got Morris, Stefanski, Carroll, Gannon, and Harbaugh.
I mean, just because I think he's a bad coach doesn't mean it didn't stand out. I would say Harbaugh. The Ravens were, again, riddled with injury. You don't have, who I think should have been the MVP last year, but Lamar Jackson for a good chunk of your season. Your defense is riddled with injuries. But the reason why I'm also not surprised is because he's not been coaching good football. Like, you still have guys on that team that should be making plays and winning games. I don't know. I don't like Harbaugh. Just I feel like he reminds me a lot of like, I would say like a Nick Sirianni, where it's like, okay, is that the correct coaching move? Everything, when it comes down to it, do you make the correct coaching decision? And do you have the personnel that can make these plays? And it seems like more often than not, when it comes to Harbaugh calling plays when it matters the most, they end up failing. And you can blame the players, you can blame the coach, but for me, I'm just like, sometimes you gotta just take the fucking points, man. And I think Harbaugh is one of those coaches where I find myself saying that often. I'm like, dude, just take the points or punt the, whatever. And it's just like, nope, bonehead play. It looks bad on Lamar's end, it looks bad on Derrick Henry's end, whoever, right? Maybe it's Rashad Bateman dropping the ball or some weird shit. But at the end of the day, you got to kind of look at the coach and go, why are you guys even in that position? I feel like Harbaugh is just that coach that this year, maybe not back when they, won the Super Bowl against you guys and stuff like that, whatever, right? Coaches get bad over time, just like coaches can get good over time. I think Harbaugh, he's been kind of on the decline. I feel like his players has been saving his job for a handful of years. I think Lamar has been saving his job. Obviously, the addition of Derrick Henry and, them building around that defense who up until recently, they had a defense that was really, really good for a handful of years. I think Harbaugh was the problem in Baltimore. I really do. So I think that I was shocked to see him go, but at the same time, it does make sense. So I think it's Harbaugh.
And regarding Harbaugh, I do agree, and I think the whole entire panel will agree that had to be the one that stands out the most because it's a guy who was there for 18 years. He was the second longest tenured coach in the NFL, only behind Mike Tomlin, who might have gotten fired if Tyler Loop makes that kick. And I saw some really funny tweets that came out today regarding the Harbaugh firing, and this one was from NFL Memes where it just says, the butterfly effect is crazy because John Harbaugh would still be employed right now if Justin Tucker was slightly less horny, given his interesting decisions at massage parlors. And someone replied to the tweet saying, this is all little Tucker's fault. And so that was the funniest part for me, just with this firing. But one thing that I wanted to point out real quickly before we hear from Jaevon and Kevin and then get out of here is a stat that I saw as well that I thought was really interesting is John Harbaugh's playoff record prior to Lamar coming to the team was 8-4. John Harbaugh's playoff record after Lamar was on the team, 3-6. It seemed like this ultimately came down to, are the Ravens going to go with Lamar or are they going to go with John Harbaugh? And despite that stat, I think the decision was correct to stick with Lamar because he's the one actually making things happen on the field, and a coach can only do so much. But that's an interesting stat to kind of look at. The only other thing that I wanted to point out regarding these firings on my end is Pete Carroll. Like, they brought him in there to build a foundation, and then he's booted after one season. It's like, it seems to me that they brought him in to tank the team, get the number 1 overall pick, and then get a true restart. Because firing him after one season, I mean, the Raiders, that is the one other thing that I wanted to highlight is I saw another crazy thing is that the Raiders will be spending $50 million on coaches that are fired next year. $8 million on Antonio Pierce, $10 million on Josh McDaniels, $10 million on John Gruden, $16 million on Pete Carroll, $6 million on Chip Kelly, their former offensive coordinator. Raiders going to Raider. But Toddy, what are your thoughts on these 5 firings?
I mean, the Stefanski firing was pretty adamant. I thought that was going to happen. I think Shador needs to probably get a coach that ends up believing in him. The Raheem Morris firing kind of sucks because I thought that they hit their stride towards the end of the year. Would like to see him a full season of Michael Penix would have been really nice. I thought Bijan Robinson played really well. Drake London was in and out of the lineup. Those 3 guys were playing pretty well, went together. And Kyle Pitts was playing substantially well towards the end of the year. Pete Carroll, the Raiders are going to Raider, as we always say on this podcast, going back to Shaun and Vaughn days. Don't really know what the Raiders are doing because I thought you don't fire a guy like Pete Carroll after 1 year. You usually, like, Pete Carroll deserves at least 3 years, just off of just the respect of what he has been for the NFL, what he's done in college, just the respect of him as a head coach. He definitely deserved to at least get 2 years, three if that. But just firing him, he's not a guy that you fire after one season. Is what I'm trying to say. So that was pretty strange. And obviously the John Harbaugh firing. You already see that a lot of teams are already lined up to have him be the head coach. So it shows you. Even I saw reports from, I believe it was, I think it was Jay Glazer was saying that there are even teams with head coaches that are currently employed are lining up to try and see if they can get John Harbaugh. So it shows you the fact that he has around the league. A lot of teams did not think that he would ever become available. And now that he is, teams are definitely knocking at the door. I think the Eagles would kill to have a guy like John Harbaugh as their head coach. That would be insane. But I'm just saying, as far as from a standpoint, you look at it from a standpoint of culture builder, stability, John Harbaugh is all of those things. He's not a guy he's not a scheme guy. He's definitely a culture builder, culture setter. And it just didn't work out with him and Lamar. And I think Lamar probably needs a more offensive-driven head coach, maybe a defensive-minded head coach, just because he's won MVPs despite him having whoever is calling plays on the sideline. So maybe if they clean up the defense a little bit, the Ravens were known back in the day when they had Reed, obviously, and Ray Lewis, all those guys, Terrell Suggs, Haloti Ngata. They were known for punching you in the mouth. And maybe the Ravens got to get back to that. And their next head coach will definitely determine what their team will look like moving forward. Because I think the offense is kind of just set. You got Derrick Henry, you got Lamar Jackson. Just ride those guys off into the sunset. So Ravens probably will end up going defense when it comes down to who their next head coach will be. But I wouldn't mind them having an offensive-minded head coach. I think that would be pretty cool for them.
Before we end episode 174, Kaz, I just wanted to give you an opportunity, if you'd like, just given what Toddy just said about the Eagles wishing they had a coach like John Harbaugh, given what you said earlier.
I mean, in Philadelphia, again, I'm not saying he's a bad coach. He's coaching bad now. Like, again, like I said, there's coaches that figured out later on. There's coaches that were great that over time they don't adjust to the game. You know what I mean? And I think Toddy said it best. He's like, just for some reason, it didn't work out with him and Lamar. I think that the Ravens probably 2 out of the last 4 to 5 years have had a Super Bowl caliber team. And it's like, what have you done with it? You know what I mean? Like, you got the personnel, you have an MVP. And if you think about, guys who have won MVP, I mean, like, what do their teams look like? You know what I mean? Like, these are guys that are making runs for a ring. I couldn't even tell you how far the Ravens haven't even made it past the divisional round with Lamar Jackson.
Not
they haven't. They've never been to AFC Championship game with Lamar.
Yeah, didn't they make it? Didn't they make it to the AFC Championship game when they lost to the Chiefs?
That was when Zay Flowers fumbled at the goal line.
Was that AFC Championship game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. I think in 2022.
Oh, well, either way, one of them. But outside of that, though, like, I just I don't know, man. I mean, if he was like with the Philadelphia, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not the biggest Sirianni fan, but I think it goes further than Sirianni because everybody knows Jalen Hurts is the only quarterback in the NFL that has had a new OC every fucking year he's been in the league. He's the only one. So who knows? Maybe it's Sirianni, maybe it's Jalen Hurts and his inability to adapt to all these new OCs. But when it's all said and done, I'm not sure. I do think Harbaugh is a better coach than Sirianni. I could say that. I just think that he's not coaching well right now. I really do. So, again, I'm not trying to bash the guy. I mean, the dude has a ring. The guy he's coached some really good teams. I mean, how many times has Lamar, had a winning season? Has he even his first year that he started maybe was a losing year, if that? I'm not even really sure about that. Outside of that, the Ravens have been a winning team. So you can't call him a terrible coach, but this season he definitely has lost his way. I think that, you guys have to remember, like before the season started, you guys understand the Ravens were favored to win the Super Bowl on every sports book. They were favored.
And this podcast.
Yeah, to go in and just because Lamar got hurt, or a couple guys on defense got hurt. I mean, so that's all it took for you guys to go from being Super Bowl favorites to being not even making the playoffs. You got to kind of look elsewhere, and I think that Harbaugh just couldn't figure it out. I think Harbaugh would have did well if everyone was healthy, and I think that he would have did well if him and Lamar could see eye to eye. Lamar also was healthy, but for some reason it just didn't work out. I think he had a bad coaching year, man. I mean, he's an older guy too, man. Like, you got to understand, these Harbaugh brothers, they've been around for a long time, man. I think that there's a reason why retirement's a thing. I think that it's not something that these guys just do because it's just, hey, it's time to do it. I think that you retire when you realize that you've kind of lost your way. And I think that it's just getting to the point with the Harbaugh bros that, you saw it with his brother in college. It's like, what happened? Why you come back to the NFL? Like, what's going on? It's like maybe they just are having trouble adjusting with the way that the league is nowadays. I don't really know, but I'm not going to sit there and pretend like he didn't coach a terrible season. This is a bad season for the Ravens. And I'm not blaming it only on a few injuries. They had a solid fucking team. They had superstars everywhere on that team. They had a guy who almost just got another rushing title. He was a few yards off, by the way. People don't even understand that. Yeah. You would never think that Derrick Henry was on the cusp of getting the rushing title until that last game. You're like, oh, he's only a few yards off. That's how bad they've been playing in Baltimore. Okay? That's how bad they've been playing. I don't think the players are the problem. So, yeah, just he might be a good fit in Philadelphia. I think he's better than Sirianni. I really do. Sirianni's a player's guy. He's a culture guy too. But Harbaugh, he's got the experience. He could definitely get those guys going a lot better than Sirianni. I agree with I think, I'm not sure if Toddy actually said that, but it was brought up. So yeah.
Yeah, and as Toddy mentioned earlier, according to a report from Adam Schefter, in the first 45 minutes after John Harbaugh was fired this afternoon, his agent said he received calls from 7 NFL teams expressing interest in John Harbaugh. And there are 7 openings. Obviously, the Ravens aren't going to reach out. So likely the 6 other openings plus a team that currently has a head coach, whether if it's Tampa, Miami, some other organization. John Harbaugh is going to be
quick.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin Stefanski was getting calls after being let go by the Browns, and now at this point, it's going to be John Harbaugh gets to pick whoever where it's just like NBA free agency, where it's like everyone's waiting to see. Exactly, everyone's waiting to see where Kawhi is going to go. Go ahead, Kaz.
No, I was gonna say there's just not that many talented coaches right now. You got to work with what you got. Give me a veteran coach versus. I'm gonna roll the dice with this random college coach who just probably can't coach in the NFL, but we're gonna try him out because he maybe won a national title or his team went, I don't know, whatever in 2 in their conference or whatever. There's not a lot of talented coaches right now. There isn't. From the college level to the NFL level, the guys that are talented are locked in. There's not just free agent coaches around here. Just like, yeah, let's go and just coach this team in the NFL at the highest level, and you're gonna do well. We know how that pans out. Hell, look at Jonathan Gannon in Arizona. He went from being, with the Philadelphia Eagles to coaching one of the worst teams in the NFL. Okay. You look at Shane Steichen, who obviously we loved him in Philadelphia as offensive coordinator. He did some good things in Indianapolis this year. So, it's a hard thing to do, man. Like, to be an NFL head coach is not easy. It's not easy. I don't think people really understand that. It goes much further than just being the head coach and just calling the shots. You also have to hire the right staff too that goes with your philosophies and how you coach. It has to be both. You know what I mean? So that's from the defensive coordinator to the offensive coordinator to the head coach to the exterior coaches that help out. Quarterback coaches, running back coaches, this, that, and the other, right? But I mean, Harbaugh's he's a culture guy, like you said. He knows how to build a culture. He just, for some reason, had a really bad season in Baltimore. I don't know. I don't hate the guy, but I'm not gonna pretend like he coached his ass off and the Ravens just shit the bed. No, he was terrible.
Yeah, and also, as I like to talk about Trevor Lawrence not meeting the sky high expectations or even coming close to him, that's the case for John Harbaugh this season. I mean, everyone on this podcast, except for me, going out into left field and picking the Bengals, everyone else picked the Ravens to at least get to the Super Bowl. And so we weren't the only ones doing that. Many others did that. And so a lot of people thought that the Ravens would be one of the best teams in the NFL. Injuries happen, but they still had a shot in week 18, and they ultimately weren't able to get it done. And the thing that's so unfortunate about that is that Tyler Loop, their rookie kicker, it was his first miss all season of a kick under 50 yards. And so it's, Toddy, what's the phrase that you always like to say?
Cold world.
It's a cold world. Any closing thoughts, guys, before we get out of here, or should I just get to the outro?
Go Niners.
Go Niners.
I'm just ready. This week is gonna be fun. I say it's gonna be fun. One thing I've been saying, I know the podcast has not been, I've been here for a while, but I've been telling my friends in real life, I'm like, this might be one of the most competitive playoffs I have seen in my entire life. There's not a bad team, and I'm even talking about Carolina. I mean, like, there's not a team where I'm like, why are you here? Every team that's here, like, deserves to be here, and it can go any which way. So I hope you guys are prepared for some really good football. We might not see nothing like this for a long time.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And like Kaz was saying, this is the most wide open NFL playoffs that I can remember in recent years. I mean, there's no Mahomes, there's no Tom Brady, anyone before that who may have dominated the NFL. It's really a toss-up. Any team could win the Super Bowl. I don't know if I'm necessarily picking the Panthers, but even as Kaz said, the Panthers, they're not a bad team. And so we're about to get some great football, and we're going to cover it all here on Stats Over Politics. But that's going to do it for episode number 174 of Stats Over Politics. Make sure to give us a like on YouTube. Helps us a lot. And if you enjoy the podcast, hit subscribe to get notifications when we go live. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Stats Over Politics, and on X at Stats or Politics. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on all podcast platforms. And if you're enjoying the show, give us those 5 stars. We'd really appreciate it. As you guys have been tuned into episode number 174 of Stats Over Politics, for my guys, Jaevon, Toddy, Kevin Dent, Kaz Johnson, Alex Dent, and Gary Singh, I'm your host, Shaun Holko. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week on another episode of Stats Over Politics. Go Niners!